Hey, what's up, beautiful souls? Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's day is going well, and I hope this message finds you in a centered, loving place. Today, I wanted to talk about the chaos that's going on in Minnesota. I really try to steer clear of hot topics, topics that are fueled by division. But what kind of warrior of truth would I be if I denied the truth of what's happening in law enforcement and what has been happening in law enforcement in our communities? As a former police officer, I don't know of any officers or any human being for that matter that would intentionally put on their uniform with the intent to kill somebody that day. Maybe it's my hope for humanity that that's not the case. Maybe it's my lack of experience within law enforcement. I was a police officer for 5 years at a small department, just part-time. So my experience is pretty limited in that field, but nevertheless, experience. And so I feel in my heart that nobody goes out and puts that uniform on with the intent to kill. But what I will say is it is an occupation that most outsiders hate. I won't say most. A lot of hatred is geared towards police officers because of actions of very few. There's not a lot of training for verbal de-escalation, psychological, mental illness for the people that are dealt with on their worst days. You know, a lot of times as a police officer, you're dealing with people on some of their worst days, or you wouldn't be there. And that can be very heavy. And if the police force is not being taught how to ground, how to protect their energy, how to openly talk about their experiences, how to share and channel their emotions authentically and not from the ego of, oh, it's cool, I'm a badass, I'm this, I'm that, I don't need help, It's time for accountability. And accountability starts with the individual officer, first and foremost. Are you taking care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health? Are you working too much overtime, different shifts, switching shifts, not allowing your body to get in a routine, not allowing your body to rest, not allowing your mind to rest? These are all things that in my limited exposure saw within the law enforcement community, you know. And so the problem is not only just not taking care of ourselves, it's not holding each other accountable because of the thin blue line that, you know, if you're on this side of the line, it's kind of the us versus them mentality that both the police force and the community has created. The divide is an equal responsibility from the police force and the people that the police force is supposed to serve. We cannot throw hatred and slurs and names and all these nasty things at all police officers and then in turn expect them to have compassion and empathy for us. It's just not how it works. And the same is said with the opposite. The community cannot receive events where people lose their lives at the hands of irresponsible, stressed out, overworked, underappreciated human beings. And it's not just about the badge, it's just about being human. When you have that collective hatred that is created by both sides, it is very heavy and it fuels the divide, and the gap just keeps getting wider and wider. And it is exactly what the powers to be want. They want us divided. They want us fighting a racial war, whatever kind of war that will divide us. That's what they want. And I'm not saying the officers are part of some crazy conspiracy. I don't believe that. I believe that officers don't know how to handle stress. There are officers out there that shouldn't be in the occupation. There are officers that should not even be considered for jobs. There needs to be more training. There needs to be more accountability. There needs to be there needs to be some sort of accountability to where it is stopped way before these things happen, and not just for the officers, but for the community. I don't understand why we see people dying from 15 different angles of video footage and nobody's helping. Nobody's helping. Whether it's a law enforcement officer abusing his power, stepping over the line, there's no accountability there. Officers standing around watching. People videotaping. I understand that's a very scary situation, because if you step in, your fate could be the same. Unfortunately, we've got to break down these walls and start community policing. Start working with the communities. Get leaders within the communities and the leaders of the law enforcement, which it happens. It happens. But on an individual basis, there's not a lot of community policing, in my limited experience. We keep repeating the same cycles. How many times are we going to see black man killed by police officers in an election year, and then riots? Wake up, people. They're fueling the divide. We have to come together. We have to hold ourselves and our brothers and sisters accountable for their actions. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to love ourselves. We have to give ourselves rest. We have to stop chasing the dollar and working buku overtime and different shifts, and you're wearing yourself thin and putting yourself in situations where not only your safety could be compromised, but the people that you're dealing with, as we've seen. We deserve better. You deserve better. Our communities deserve better. There needs to be more training. The leadership of that department needs to be held accountable. There needs to be a more stringent, not more stringent, the police process is very stringent. There needs to be more common sense instead of how you look on paper. There needs to be more training on emotional intelligence, mental illness, dealing with mental illness, dealing with stress. There needs to be more training. Don't let the events fill your heart with hate. Think of solutions. Think of ways we can fix this. Think of what you can contribute from the heart, from a place of love, not hatred or division. Accountability starts within. Are you maintaining your stress levels? Are you taking care of yourself when you're out of balance? Are you eating properly? Are you exercising? Are you doing things that allow you to release, build up emotion, and build up energy from stressful situations? Drinking beer, I know a lot of police officers that drown the stress and the chaos with alcohol. I don't know anything about the officers in Minnesota, but alcohol is not the way to release your workday. It's not. It's time for better. It's time for change. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you're able to transmute the negative energy and the negative emotions of everything that's been going on in this world. I hope you are able to find love and peace within your reality, and really focus within and how you can better yourself, because when each individual does the work is when the collective feels it. So it's time to get to work, folks.